Hi there. There's an old saying in business that strategy without execution is an illusion, and it's so true. It doesn't matter how many great ideas you have, unless you're executing ideas, they're kind of pointless. I mean, if I were to look around my office, I have books and books and books of ideas that I have. In fact, my favorite pastime when I'm not doing anything is to write down all the ideas in a journal, and now an iPad, and I've got ideas and post-it notes. They're all over the place, but none of them are executed. And if they're not executed, they're just an illusion. And I get emails or communication from people all the time that will send me something, an idea. They're a startup and they've got this idea and that idea. Some of them are a bit harebrained. You think to yourself, why did you put so much time and effort into this concept that obviously, in my opinion, just would never work? But at least they have something to show. There's a conversation they can have with you. You can see what type of person they are by the effort that they put into the thing that they're trying to explain to you. You've got a starting point. There's some movement there. They're trying to get off the ground. They're trying to get that airplane off the ground, and that's what's very important. So, and it's the same with in business, particularly young entrepreneurs. It's not about one of the reasons they can't scale is because they can't execute. And one of the reasons they can't execute is because they're trying to use force of will over their team in short periods of time to get things done. And it's really about, good execution is about being pig-headed, right? If you have a team of 5, 10, 15, and probably each manager shouldn't have any more than about 5 people as a direct report. But if you have 3 or 4 managers reporting to you and you have a concept or idea, they don't like change. So you'll come up with a new idea, it's good for the business, but it needs to be executed. Then what they want to do is they want to stay in their comfort zone. They don't want to do it. They will say yes, they'll do that, and then they'll come back with ideas of why they couldn't do it, why they're so busy, why that. And it comes down to that pig-headedness of making sure that they become so uncomfortable that it's easier for them to execute your idea than deal with you being upset with them not fulfilling what you've asked them to do. Right? So sometimes it really is just about being pig-headed to get execution done. Sometimes it's because people don't know and understand the right way to execute a concept or an idea. It's not all about being pig-headed. Sometimes, that way you're not communicating to your team what needs to be done and how that can be broken down into bite-sized bits that's not overwhelming for everybody. It's got to be achievable. You can't just give you can't give your team a concept or idea and that they're thinking in their head, that's never going to happen. We don't have the bandwidth. We don't have the resources. If you're going for goals, if you're going for that moonshot, then you really need to explain to them in great detail how you're going to achieve that goal. And then you've got to execute it ruthlessly. I hope that helps today. The best place to listen to my tips is on YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you.